Good morning and welcome back to my channel. It's another one of those days when we're rushing around. Joe has work to go to, and I was going to get up and go to the early group, but then confession, I didn't want to get out of bed because it was too cold and it would have meant leaving at about 20 to 8. So I decided to go to the second group as normal and just weigh in. I want to say get well soon to a lot of the people who should have been at group, because we've got a bout of flu in our area at the moment and a lot of people are quite poorly. So there was a sizable number of people missing this morning. So yeah, get well soon all of you. I've had a really interesting week. I've had a busy week. It's been a week of hospital visits and doctors and different things. But you just deal with that because you have to. But it's also been a week of, well, a bit more than a week really, a while, shall we say this month. I've been really focused on something that is another passion of mine, which is, how can I put it? One of the things is Feng Shui, and that's something I've been involved with for a long, long time. The other thing is minimising my household, minimising my life. And that again, I've been very into. What I watch mostly on YouTube are videos about minimalism. I'm really into a couple of blokes called Joshua Fields Milburn and Ryan Nicodemus, who together are the Minimalists. They have a really good YouTube channel, and yeah, the next time they come to England, it's my plan to actually go and see them. They're Americans. So what they teach is about totally changing your life and being focused on having less. I've read 3 books in the last 10 days. The first one was actually about how to, shall we say, downsize when you get into later years and you're really conscious that, I mean, my mum's 86 and mum and I regularly talk about this, when you're really conscious about everything you've got, which are your treasured possessions, actually becoming a burden to your kids. Now I know I'm only 62, but wanting to live as a minimalist also alleviates the problem of burdening Joe with all of my possessions. I know I've spoken very briefly with Kath and Laura about this by text, because I am very much not a hoarder, which is something I used to practice. And I've been clearing out systematically things from way, way back. I mean, a lot of the possessions I've let go of recently were even things from the First World War that had been my grandma's brothers. And you know, when you've got them packed in trunks and boxes and things, I kind of got to the stage in my life of thinking these things are doing me no good. And some people do collect those things. And another thing I used to be very much into collecting was coins. I've got quite a lot of pre-decimal coins and notes and things like that. And I'm coming to a place now where I'm ready to let go of all that stuff. I firmly believe like the attic space, the loft space should be empty, because I was taught in Feng Shui that that is actually a weight on your head, which becomes a burden on your life. And so I'm quite proud to say there is nothing in my loft apart from insulation, and that makes me feel good. It's not for everybody, we're all different, aren't we? But the other 2 books I've been reading, so there was one about actually letting go of stuff in older life, and if I had a memory I'd tell you what all these books are called, but I can't tell people if they're interested. Another book I read was A Year of Less, and it was literally a young woman who was in a lot of debt, which fortunately I'm not, but this young woman was in like $30,000 worth of debt, and she wanted to clear her debt, and she wanted to also learn to live with less. So again, decluttering. And then the final book, which I've actually read twice this week because it was so interesting, is Marie Kondo, and this is about the KonMari method, which is her method of tidying rather than minimising. But the 2 things kind of go hand in hand, and she has this method of actually clearing out your house. And I've done, to the best of my ability, what she advises, not exactly as she advised it, because as a blind person it wasn't that easy. But I've done it. I've done my bedroom, and I've done my dressing room, and I've done my kitchen, and I'm working through all of these things. And I have to say, I'm already feeling a different level of peace and enjoyment in my house. Now I know that we don't all live in houses that we're passionate about. You know, you might be in your first place, it might be a bedsit or something. I started in Nottingham in 1975 in a 1-room bedsit. until I then moved into a small flat and then a bigger flat, and then I bought my first property when I was in my mid-20s, and I've gone on from there. We do it in steps and stages. But what I'm finding now is a passion for, I've always been a bit of a neat freak. I'm a bit OCD, I think, but I'm finding a passion for having less, because being blind, having the space is much more valuable to me. And because that brings a peace into my life, which relieves me of lots of silly bits of anxiety and stress, then it is also indirectly helping my Slimming World journey, because my total focus is no longer on food. I'm getting joy from other things. And I do think, looking back on when I was a really big girl, that most of my joy, if not all of my joy, came from food. I want to just tell you a funny story which is involving Feng Shui. If Richard's watching this later, I owe you an apology, Richard, and I did something really daft many years ago. My husband paid for it because he's a very kind person, but way before Joe was born, when Feng Shui was just coming into this country as a thing, I employed a Feng Shui consultant from London who came up to Nottingham and Feng Shuied my bungalow. Now my bungalow is very much, it's not massive, it's a long, narrow bungalow. So we're in the front room now, which goes right across the front of the bungalow, and then the bungalow goes backwards from here. So you've got kitchen, bathroom, bedroom, pantry, studio, another bedroom, dressing room, but it's very much like a shoebox shape. And I used to describe it, before we had the extension built, as a size 7 shoebox, and then it grew to a size 9 shoebox. Anyway, this lady came, she was a young woman, she was really nice, and she was oriental. She came up from London, so we had to pay her travel expenses, and then she charged us £250 to Feng Shui the bungalow. Which back then, I mean, we're talking more than 25 years ago, was quite a lot of money. And she came and she did a really good job, and she wrote a report, and she taught us to put our toilet lids down, which is the first thing that a lot of people hear about Feng Shui, is that if you keep your toilet lids down, it stops your money being flushed down the drains. I'm not sure how much of that I believe today, because, you know, I put my toilet lid down. Whether Joe puts his down or not is his problem, isn't it? And I also learned that you never keep your finances in the back left-hand corner of a room. But then I got awfully confused about that, because which way are you coming into the room, you know? And you always are supposed to look, I think, at your main door. But if you come into my lounge from the front, then the back left-hand corner is over here. If you come in from the kitchen, the back left-hand corner is over there. And I got really, I think I overthought it, like I do a lot of things. Anyway, she came and she did the job, and she said to me, "You've got one major problem." She said, "If I stand outside your bungalow at the front, we've got a big window over here, and I look in through your window, straight ahead of me is a door. That was the door into our hall. That went straight down the middle of the bungalow, and if my bedroom door was open, at the back of my bedroom is a big French door which goes into the garden." So she said, "I stand here outside the front, I can see right through, like a tunnel, through your bungalow." And I'm like, "Is that vitally important?" And she said, "Yes, every bit of energy, finance and health that comes in from the south is going straight out to the north." Well, I took it all so seriously that I spent £2,500 building a wall in my kitchen to stop this happening. And that's why I need to apologise to my husband, because looking back, Richard, it was a bit unnecessary. I'm not that daft now, and I'm not that easily influenced, but I think that's come with maturity. Older and wiser. But the whole thing just fascinates me. The whole thing about minimalism especially fascinates me. And I know that as part of my Slimming World journey, I have very much minimalised the way I eat, not in quantity, but in choice. I don't have lots of unnecessary things in my food cupboards, in my pantry, in my fridge, in my freezer, just in case. Everything that's in our fridge, freezer, pantry, shelves, everywhere today is food that either one of us can eat on our plan. That's really important to me, because I know that if I'm having a day where I'm feeling like I got out the wrong side of the bed, or life is very stressful, like yesterday was a particularly stressful day for me, if there's stuff in the house that I shouldn't be thinking about eating, that's when I will. So if it's not there, then I can't. And that has actually helped me a great deal on my journey. And as I've always said, one of the first things I did on this journey was to create a list of foods that I love. And Marie Kondo talks about it as things that give you joy. And I have to say that all of the food in my house today gives me joy, brings me pleasure. And Joe and I are really funny people. You know, we stand in the middle of Waitrose or Asda or, I think, where did we get the last cauliflower, Joe? Morrison's. We stand in the middle of the supermarket and we absolutely both love cauliflower. That would be our kind of chosen vegetable, first vegetable. And we stand in there and we get really excited. We get real joy. I know it sounds daft, but, you know, forgive me, I'm a bit daft. I can get real joy from buying first-class fresh vegetables. A beautiful, big, white cauliflower brings me pleasure. Now, I suppose a lot of people might look at me and say, well, you're in a fortunate position. You can afford to do that. You can afford to go. You buy organic. I don't buy organic all the time. If the ordinary stuff looks as good, if not better, I'll buy that. I'm not paranoid about being organic. But people might watch me, and I'm assuming this, which is probably wrong with me, but they might watch me and they might say, it's all right for you. You can go out and you just do your shopping. And our shopping bill is big, I'll confess to that, because we buy quality food and we buy quality meat and fish. And my mum always says, you know, she wouldn't want to feed us for a week, let alone a fortnight. But these are things that add joy to our lives and bring real pleasure into our home. And I don't look particularly on the reduced section and things like that, because I know that I today need, for me, for my health, for my age, for my state of mind, I need to be putting the best quality of ingredients into my body to get out of it what I need, the energy levels and the health, etc. Something we were listening to, I was listening to a podcast on the BBC about drinking milk, and it was quite interesting actually, but it was quite was it fair, really, Joe? Because one of the main guys on it was a vegan, but he didn't say so, did he?
Yeah.
We know he's a vegan because we followed other stuff of his. And he was there and he was knocking the dairy industry and everything. But as a vegan, then he feels that way, and I respect his belief in that. I think it would have been a lot more honest if he'd said, well, I'm vegan, so should I really have an opinion on whether people who aren't vegan drink milk? You know. I know you're entitled to an opinion and you're entitled to say it's wrong, I choose not to. But I think the transparent is the word I'm looking for. The whole thing would have been a lot more transparent if he'd said my opinions are because I believe in a vegan lifestyle. I respect that. I've got friends who are vegans and I've got friends who live on a plant-based diet and don't believe in eating animals in any way, shape or form, and I do respect that. It's not for me. I've been there. I've been a vegan for a while. It didn't work. But because we were watching this programme, this is what I'm getting around to saying, there was a guy on there who was, what was he, that Indian chap? Like a guru type man.
Oh yeah, I forgot his name.
Guru Sard, something like that his name was. Anyway, this podcast's on the current BBC Sounds app. You'll find it if you want to look for it. But he was very much saying it's about listening to your body when it comes down to what you eat. And I think as Westerners, you know, we're very attuned to listening to our minds, and our minds tell us lies. My mind, if I stopped and thought now, we just called at Joe's dad's on the way home. When we were in the Nespresso boutique yesterday, buying our fix of coffee, we got 2 free gifts, and one was espresso cup and saucer, which is really nice, and the other one was a box of caramel chocolates. So we dropped them off at Joe's dad's this morning because neither Joe nor I would choose to eat them. But why am I telling you this? Oh yeah, it just shows me...
Because your mind would be...
Because my mind's wappy. If we're seeing Joe's dad tomorrow anyway, so we could have kept them until tomorrow. We've had them since yesterday. But actually having them in the house was playing games with my mind. Because my mind was thinking, do you know, I'm not the biggest fan of caramel chocolates, but, you know, they're a really, really superior brand and they will be really, really delicious. My mind's telling me all this. My body does not need 1,174 calories worth of caramel chocolates, does it, Joe? Because Joe said, oh my God, he said, this box of chocolates is 200 grams, which is the same size as a jacket potato. Jacket potato has 200 calories, 1,174 calories. Which one would I enjoy more? Hand on heart, in all honesty today, I'd enjoy the jacket potato more. because it won't play with my mind. And that's something, again, with my minimalism, my clearing out, my tidying up and everything, and the KonMari method and the minimalists, that is actually helping me to realise that not all things that I feel need to be felt in my head. I can feel energy and joy and relief and gratitude, which is a really key word. I can feel all of those things, love and passion. I feel those in my heart. The stuff I feel in my head is often the stuff that will knock me for six, knock me off plan and make me feel crap about myself. So I've had a really good week of, sorting myself out. Now, one of the things Mary does is she encourages you to take out everything, every item of clothing you possess and put it in a big pile. So I did this, I took out all of my clothing and put it in a massive pile on my bed, and then I thought, oh God, I wish I hadn't done that. I've now got to sort it all out. And as you go through those items, she wants you to try to be very in tune with what brings you joy. Now, I have to say that as a blind person, I get more joy from how things feel rather than how they look. Because although I used to be able to see, and I do know what colours are and all that, what things look like, sometimes it's the way something feels. Now, I'm going to say the jumper I'm wearing today, can't remember what brand it was, can you? Whatever. Bought it in a really expensive boutique in Thoresby, which is in Sherwood Forest. And I've probably had it a year or so. Every time I put this jumper on, I feel something not quite right. Now it fits me on the shoulders and it sort of fits me in the sleeves, although they're a wee bit long. But it just doesn't feel like my jumper. Shall I put it that way? It really doesn't feel like my jumper. Now, on camera it'll come across, it's black. I think the back is plain black, isn't it?
Yeah.
On the front it's, what shade of blue?
It's like a dark teal.
Like a dark teal blue. Coming down here, and in the middle, there are some little like jet stones, like little tiny jet stones. And I bought this jumper when I was shopping with my friend Val. Joe wasn't there at the time. And when I came home and I put it on and I showed it to him, he went, I don't like it. Now, whether it's that bugs me, but in the time I've had it, I think this is probably the third time I've put it on. And each time I put it on, it feels like I'm putting somebody else's jumper on. And I guess this is part of what she teaches. It's about how you feel. And I'm not saying it doesn't make me feel tidy, and I love the feel of the actual jumper. It's really nice. But what I'm going to say now, and you probably think this is a bit crackers, this jumper's a size small, so I would say, I don't know, I'm a bit busty, you could probably get away with it if you're a 14. If anybody would like it, you would be doing me a great service. So the first person who drops a comment and says, you know, can I have your jumper? I'd love to send it to you. I support a local charity shop, Age Concerned, and they've just closed for a fortnight for a refit. And I've been sorting out lots and lots of stuff for them. I've also sorted out some clothes for a close friend. But this jumper, it just feels like somebody watching this video, it's your jumper. It's not mine. It's just not my jumper. So yeah, another one of my crazy things. You probably think I'm as mad as a box of frogs. But if you would like this jumper, it's yours with pleasure. The first person to ask can have it. I'll happily post it to you. If you drop me a comment, I'll respond, get your address, and it'll be in the post. There is absolutely nothing wrong with it. I'm not going to tell you how much it was, but it was expensive. And if nobody wants it, or maybe everybody watching it will go, ooh, don't like it anyway. But if nobody watches it, then it'll go to the charity shop when it reopens in a fortnight, because it's not my jumper. Right, nice bit of news today. Joe has been following the Slimming World plan for 33 weeks?
Yep.
Yeah, 33 weeks. He decided, a year ago, he took up, and now I'm going to get this wrong, is it weightlifting? Not bodybuilding, isn't it?
Powerlifting.
Powerlifting. So just over a year ago, he took up powerlifting. And initially put on quite a bit of weight, but too quickly, and then decided, actually, you know, I don't want to be heavy, and I don't want to be podgy or pudgy is the word Rebecca uses. I love that word. I don't want to be pudgy. I want my body back. So 33 weeks ago he decided to just start following the Slimming World plan as it was written in the book, and when it changed back in November he upped to the 2 healthy extra A's, and he's followed it by the book. Now Joe and I don't eat the same meals. He eats a lot more than me. He's a guy. He eats a lot more meat than I do as well because he's a carnivore and I'm not particularly. But in 33 weeks he's done really well, and on Sunday when he got weighed in he actually got to target. So I'm really, really proud of him. He started at 14 stone 7 and he's now 12 stone. He's 6 feet tall and he looks pretty good on it. He doesn't want to come on camera because he's ready, he's dressed to go to work. But yeah, I am really proud of him. And I told Naomi what he'd achieved, and when we went into group this morning, she gave him a certificate, a target, she gave him a pin and the Slim for Life book because she wants to help him and encourage him. So yeah, I'm proud of you, Joe. You've done really well. Would you like to share what you're going to do to maintain? So you've gone from 2 healthy extra A's and 1 B, and you've increased it to
3 A's and 2 B's
to maintain. But remember, you know, he powerlifts, and he's got some restrictions because of health at the moment, but he's still fronting up at the gym to his personal trainer 4 times a week. He's committed, and you know, that's helped me on my journey, watching his commitment to things, because he's not wired like I am. I'm very much somebody who could have a quick passion about something and then a fortnight later think, can't be asked, can't be bothered, it's too much effort. My passions in life are, as I've said, Slimming World, and that has to come first in my life because it's what keeps me in the shape I'm in and it's what keeps me sane. Minimalism, which I absolutely think is the way to go. Coffee, now I've got an espresso coffee machine. I'm spending as much money on coffee as I was going to Costa every day, so average £40+ a week. But oh my God, I am drinking some of the most divine coffees and I am loving it. That gives me real joy. So my coffee and my other love in life. The one thing that could bankrupt me is books. Well, you, yeah, you might bankrupt me. Honest to God, I tell you, our shopping bill. It's a good job I haven't got a credit card. It's a good job I have to function with cash. It puts the brakes on. But I don't resent that at all because we're in bloody good shape, aren't we? For what we spend and the effort we make, we're in bloody good shape.
Yeah, I feel better for him.
Yeah. You said, I mean, Joe's been ill for over 2 years with a, what do you call it, idiopathic?
Yeah.
That's when you've got
They don't know.
When you've got an illness and they don't know what caused it or what is causing it. We've been backwards and forwards. We've been under 7 the royal we, Joe and I. Joe has been backwards and forwards to hospital for over 2 years now, we've been under 7 consultants for hospitals, and they've tried everything and they cannot find what has caused this illness. Now Joe is physically much better now than you were a year ago, aren't you?
Yeah, because this time last year I weighed 9 stone 2.
Yeah, exactly.
Like pretty much exactly to this day.
He weighed 9 stone 2. He's 6 feet tall. You know, he was really poorly.
It's been a hell of a year.
It's been a hell of 2 years. Hell is the right word.
No, it's not.
I'm going to tell the outcome of this, and we're not looking for sympathy or anything like that. The outcome is that Joe has got to have a hip replacement and then a second one at some point, purely because whatever it was that he got, and it most likely was a virus, has cut off the blood supply to his hips. And as strong as he is, and as fit as he is, and as much as he's walked and everything, this has happened. And it's took them 2 years to even get an inkling of where the damage is done. The ironic thing is, and this is weird, when I was a teenager, late teens, I got an unexplained illness. And I got very ill, and I was in hospital for months. And at the end of it, I started to lose my sight. I am so grateful that he needs hip replacements and is not going to go the same way as me. Not that there's anything wrong with being blind, it's not the worst thing in the world. I really would never ask for my sight back, never pray for my sight back. I'm not worried about being blind. It's my life and I love it. I love my life, not love being blind. But it just seems ironic to me, you know, when you have a kid and you think, oh, thank God their eyes are all right. But I knew that what was wrong with me wasn't hereditary and that was never going to be a problem. But I tell you something, I never saw this coming. So appreciate what you've got when you've got health. And even if your health's not amazing, appreciate what you've got. Because, yeah, we should be more grateful in life. And I am grateful because getting help, and he is so committed to actually moving forward all the time. He never looks back, he looks forward, and that's taught me a great deal. Anyway, looking forward to my results this week, which are behind me, but I'm going to tell you about them. Went to group, got a few hugs as you usually do and everything. And as we left here, I said to Joe, I'm anticipating a gain. That's fine, because I'm like that, yo. Got on the scales, and the nice lady said, you've lost a pound. Now, I was surprised at that, because I thought, well, I don't know what I thought. I don't feel like I've lost a pound, but then when you're small and it just doesn't feel so dramatic. It's not like when I was big and I would lose 4 pounds or something, but I'm grateful for it. So yeah, today I am 1 pound under target, 8 stone 13. I was going to say 13 stone 8 then, which is where I started, but I'm 8 stone 13. And the one thing I've done this week that's been different, and it's my choice and it's not strictly planned, which for me is unusual because I say do it by the book, don't I? When I was doing this plan pre-November and the changes, I've always had Healthy Extra A of Alpro Professional coconut milk, and it was 400 mils. And I've been buying it from Amazon for a while. We have it delivered, 12 litres at a time. When the changes came and they did away with a lot of the nut milks being Healthy Extra A, I thought it was a bit mean to people who can't have dairy. And I mean, I can have dairy, it doesn't suit me. Joe can't. He's totally allergic to cow's milk and everything. So, but he's not a milk drinker anyway, he's a cheese eater. And there is a particular type of cheese he can eat. So, I don't want to go back to having cow's milk because it gives me bellyache. And it took me a long time to be off it to realise, why do I feel different? I feel different because I haven't got bellyache all the time. So yeah, my Alpro Professional coconut milk, 400 mils was the Healthy Extra A, and it's no longer, it's 6 sins. It always was 6 sins. Nothing's changed apart from what's written in the book. So for the first few weeks I was drinking Morrison's coconut milk and hexaing that, and then sinning Alpro Professional. And then this week I thought, this is stupid. I'm not enjoying the Morrison's one. I am enjoying the Alpro. Life is about joy and balance and consistency. So I've gone back to doing what I was doing before the November changes. I actually hex A 400 mils of the coconut milk, which is 132 calories. It's a bit more calorie-wise than some of the other sort of almond milks and things, but I'm not worried about that. But I also sin some of the milk because I adore these lovely Nespresso coffees. I was in John Lewis Nespresso Boutique.
30 minutes.
Gotta go.
No.
I was in the Nespresso Boutique, and apparently George Clooney drinks the same coffee as me, so hey, come round George, we could have a bit of a chat. Right, I'm going to go because the battery's going to go. We'll be back next week. It's been a stressful week, but you know what? It's been a bloody brilliant week. We'll see you next week. Have a good one. Bye.